What is an essential amino acid? Hello, my name is Rusty Owenbrink. I'm a board-certified osteopathic family physician. I've been practicing integrative medicine for over a decade. Essential amino acids. There are over 300 types of amino acids in nature. There are 21 types of amino acids that are typically human proteins. Unlike fats and carbohydrates, the human body does not store amino acids for later use. They must be consumed or synthesized on a regular basis to be available. Essential amino acids are those that cannot be synthesized from scratch, de novo. They must be supplied in our diet. Many amino acids can be manufactured easily by our cells. Conditionally essential amino acids can usually be manufactured except under certain circumstances. Typically, they cannot be made in conditions such as prematurity in infants, under severe catabolic stress when the body is destroying more tissue than it is building. There are many classification systems for amino acids. One system evaluates their side chains. Do they contain sulfur, such as cysteine and methionine? Are they neutral pH, such as asparagine, serine, threonine, and glutamine? They may be acidic, such as glutamic and aspartic acid. They could be alkaline, as with arginine or lysine. Aliphatic in nature, alanine, glycine, isoleucine, leucine, and valine. And they may have aromatic side chains such as phenylalanine, tryptophan, and tyrosine. Other classification systems look at the other side chains that are divided into subgroups. They can be acidic and polar, such as aspartic and glutamic acids. They can be alkaline and polar, such as with arginine, histidine, and lysine. They may be nonpolar, such as alanine, glycine, isoleucine, leucine, methionine, proline, and tryptophan. Or they may be polar, such as asparagine, cysteine, glutamine, serine, threonine, and tyrosine. Amino acid concepts. Without the proper amino acids, growth will be limited. Certain amino acids can be converted into others. An excess of methionine and deficiency of homocysteine and vice versa can be corrected with the enzyme systems in our bodies. The term complete proteins are those that contain all the essential amino acids. Proteins from plant sources tend to have relatively low biologic value compared to eggs, milk, or other animal proteins. These may have all the amino acids, but some of those amino acids may be present in lower quantities. Amino acid quality. The biological value can be looked at, the net protein utilization, protein efficiency ratio, protein digestibility, the corrected amino acid score, and the complete protein concept. These terms are used especially in evaluating livestock feeds and other sources of food for animals and other formulations. There are 8 essential amino acids that cannot be synthesized by our bodies: isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. This chart is rather busy, but it gives a description and review of where the amino acids are found, what the ideal intake should be in terms of milligrams per kilogram of body weight, listed with the amino acid in question. This will be available on the handouts if necessary, if it's requested. Conditionally essential amino acids. These can be manufactured in our bodies, but under severe circumstances, we can't make enough to keep up with the demand. Alanine, arginine, aspartic acid, cysteine, glutamic acid, glutamine, glycine, histidine, proline, serine, tyrosine, and asparagine with the selenocysteines. Branched chain amino acids. Their structure is a branched off of the main body of the molecule. It comprises about a third of the skeletal muscle protein, 70% of all of the body's proteins. These are an important group of amino acids. The enzyme BCAA aminotransferase is only present in muscle. It converts the branched chain amino acids, which are only metabolized in muscle. Branched chain amino acid alpha ketohydrogenase dehydrogenase is located in muscle. It's activated by fasting or exercise. This is another enzyme that's involved in the metabolism and function of the branched chain amino acids. There are three branched chain amino acids: isoleucine, leucine, and valine. Isoleucine. This is the structure. You can see that there's an amine group with the NH2, and at the other side on the right is the carboxylic terminal end. The side chain is coming off, and it has 1, 2, 3 carbons with some hydrogens. And this is what leucine looks like. It is just an isomer, a slightly different perspective, if you will, of the first molecule. Leucine is the most readily oxidized. It promotes insulin secretion. It aids in growth hormone production, with arginine. Valine, this is the structure. The branched chain amino acid functions. It's good for treating hepatic encephalopathy, where too much ammonia is poisoning the brain. The branched chain amino acids help to absorb the excess amine groups with the ammonia. It helps with liver regeneration. It actually stimulates protein synthesis. It acts as a hepatic or liver growth factor, and it also promotes glutamine production. This is how it absorbs the extra amine group. It inhibits the breakdown of protein, also known as proteolysis. It's useful in treating cirrhosis. Branched chain amino acids again promote ammonia detoxification. They can correct amino acid imbalances. They can reduce the influx of aromatic amino acids, unsaturated compounds, into the brain. They may also influence tissue building during and after exercise in healthy people. They reduce muscle soreness after exercise. They improve long-term muscle performance, and they're vital for muscle formation, metabolism, and repair. The effects of a branched chain amino acid deficiency: if one of these is missing, utilization of all the other amino acids will be affected. All organ systems will be affected. Brain development and function, immune system, increased risk of infection if the immune system is not working well. The gut mucosal function and permeability won't work well, so you'll have altered absorption of nutrients and increased risks of infections. Kidney function will also be impacted. Symptoms of branched chain amino acid deficiency: edema, swelling, water retention is one of the earliest symptoms. Failure to thrive is common among infants and young children. There is no evidence of any adverse effects of branched chain amino acid supplementation in healthy humans. Amino acids are also neurotransmitters and neurotransmitter precursors. Some amino acids act as the neurotransmitters, others are the precursors to them. Neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers that pass between one nerve cell and the next across the synapse. This is what enables our brain to function. Glutamate is known as an excitatory neurotransmitter. It increases the chance of the next or postsynaptic neuron firing. Glutamine, on the other hand, is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. It decreases the chance of that next postsynaptic neuron firing. Aspartate, N-methyl D-aspartate, glycine, gamma-aminobutyric acid are other neurotransmitters and amino acids, precursors to some of these neurotransmitters. With the exception of GABA, all the other amino acids are products of intermediary metabolism, what happens in our bodies every day. GABA is not used in protein synthesis. It is unique to nerve cells. It's not present elsewhere in the body. Glutamate and aspartate are produced within the Krebs tricarboxylic acid cycle. If you looked at the cell biology slides, you'll understand that that's how we get our energy. Glutamate and aspartate both have excitatory effects in the central nervous system and are produced in the mitochondria, transported to the cytosol, the fluid within the cells, then packaged into vesicles, where they will later make their way up to the synapse so they can be released into the synapse and affect the next neuron, triggering it to fire. Glutamate has 3 distinct receptors on the postsynaptic membrane. Glutamate is highly toxic to neurons when present for extended periods, especially after a stroke or trauma, which causes large releases of glutamate that overstimulate its receptors. This in turn causes a large influx of sodium into the damaged cells. Water follows the sodium, causing the cells to swell. The derangements in glutamate metabolism or receptor activations are implicated in diseases such as Alzheimer's and in Huntington's chorea. Glycine mediates inhibitory actions of the spinal cord interneurons. These are the neurons that branch out within the spinal cord. It's synthesized from serine in the mitochondria. The poison strychnine works by blocking the effect of glycine, leading to hyperexcitation and spasm of the muscles. GABA mediates the majority of the inhibitory synaptic actions in the central nervous system. It is synthesized from glutamic acid, or glutamate. There is a decreased local GABA-mediated inhibition that may be responsible for the syndrome of epilepsy. GABA has also been implicated in mood disorders. Benzodiazepines, barbiturates, and alcohol all work on the GABA receptors. There are 2 types of GABA receptor. Type A is largely in the postsynaptic area on the next cell to be triggered. Type B is on the presynaptic, the current cell that's awaiting to stimulate the next cell. All of these neurotransmitters depend on the release of ionic calcium with a 2+ charge and adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, which degenerates into adenosine. The ATP and adenosine themselves are also neurotransmitters that can modify the response of the synapse depending on the receptors present. So adenosine is a potent inhibitor of neurotransmitter release for presynaptic terminals. Interest has been shown in urine testing to determine levels of amino acids that are precursors to specific neurotransmitters. Unfortunately, due to the way the kidney regulates certain of these amino acids, it's not useful as a screening diagnostic test. However, urine testing after initiation of therapy may be able to provide some insight. Specific amino acid functions. L-alanine, this is what it looks like. It is a conditionally essential amino acid. It's found in high levels in human plasma. Increases immunity, provides energy for the brain and spinal cord, muscle. It's necessary for the glucose-alanine cycle between tissues and liver. It eliminates excess toxins from the liver. It's concentrated in prostatic fluid from the prostate. L-arginine, this is the structure. It's got a longer side chain. It is another conditionally essential amino acid. It's important in cell division and immune functioning, for healing wounds, releasing hormones, and removing ammonia from the body. It is a precursor to nitric oxide, which is essential for blood vessel relaxation, dilation, so it can improve angina, inadequate blood flow to the heart muscle. It's an intermediary in the urea cycle. It's cleaved into ornithine and urea in that cycle. It's also a component of human growth hormone. It's therapeutically useful for upper respiratory infections, hypertension, high blood pressure, migraine, congestive heart failure, erectile dysfunction, male infertility, sexual dysfunction in women. It improves athletic performance and promotes wound healing and surgical recovery. It reduces bladder inflammation, leg cramps, weakness, claudication, which is inadequate blood flow to the legs. It improves kidney function, especially in transplant patients who are taking the immune depressant drug cyclosporine for anti-rejection purposes. L-asparagine, and this is the structure. It is a non-essential amino acid. It's involved in the synthesis of glycoproteins, which is a carbohydrate or sugar based to the protein. It's required for equilibrium and balance. It increases resistance to fatigue, improves liver function. It's involved in cell signaling, nerve cell development, and transmission of impulses across synapses between nerve cells, and deficiency of it may slow metabolism somewhat. L-aspartic acid, or L-aspartate, would be the salt of it. This is what it looks like. This is another non-essential amino acid that we make. It plays a major role in the energy cycle and the ornithine cycle. It's necessary for stamina, brain and nerve health, functioning of DNA and RNA and immunoglobulin synthesis. It promotes a robust metabolism. It helps to improve depression and fatigue, promotes transportation of minerals into cells, and strengthens the immune system. L-carnitine, this is the structure of it. It's synthesized from the two essential amino acids, lysine and methionine. It transports long-chain fatty acids across the inner membrane of the mitochondria. They're essentially the fuel that undergoes beta oxidation in the mitochondrion to produce energy. It also is useful to help remove toxins from inside the mitochondria, and it mediates oxidative stress, especially in the mitochondria, where the fuels are being burned, and in that process generating free radicals that require antioxidants. L-carnitine also inhibits fatty acid ester accumulation during ischemic events with inadequate blood flow, prevents cardiac cell apoptosis or death. It is synthesized from lysine and methionine, again the two essential amino acids. Supplementation in heart disease appears to offer protective benefits. Clear evidence is lacking, but it suggests that at least 2, but possibly as much as 6 to 9 grams a day would be needed in heart disease. The dosing pattern has not been established. Other studies, however, have demonstrated that chronic high dietary intake of L-carnitine can be linked with an increased risk of heart disease. L-cysteine, the structure of it is below. You can see the sulfur group. It is a non-essential amino acid. It builds white blood cell activity. It's necessary for proper functioning of the skin, hair, and nails, and for post-surgical recovery and wound healing. It's used to produce glutathione and taurine. Vegetarians may become deficient in cysteine. It's involved in the detoxification and manufacture of antioxidants such as glutathione, and it protects the brain and liver from damage by toxins and by radiation damage. L-glutamic acid, or L-glutamate, this is the structure of it. Again, this is a non-essential amino acid. It's an excitatory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system, and it can be transferred into glutamine or into gamma-aminobutyric acid. It's able to pass through the blood-brain barrier. It supports brain function. It removes excess ammonia by transforming from glutamate to glutamine, so it has an antioxidant effect as well. L-glutamate detoxifies muscle cells after intense exercise by absorbing ammonia to become glutamine. It's a chemical messenger that seems to help improve intelligence for enhanced clarity of thinking, mental alertness, and mood. It can help with Parkinson's disease, fatigue, mental retardation, schizophrenia, muscular dystrophy, and alcoholism. L-glutamine, this is the structure of it. It is a non-essential. It's the most active of the amino acids. It's involved in numerous metabolic processes. It's converted to glucose. It maintains proper glucose and pH levels. It's very important in removing excess ammonia. It's also important in digestion and, of course, normal brain function. It's the most abundant amino acid in the body, but requires supplementation during times of stress, infections, etc. So it is actually a conditionally essential amino acid. L-glycine, this is the structure. It is a conditionally essential amino acid. It's necessary for digestion. It regulates synthesis of bile acid, helps with fat digestion. Bile is essentially a detergent that the liver produces. It's concentrated in the gallbladder, which squirts it into the gut during fatty meals. And just like a detergent, it breaks the fat into smaller globules so that the fat can be absorbed. It is an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the central nervous system, so the postsynaptic membrane will be less likely to fire depending on how much glycine is being released from the presynaptic neurons. It is essential for development and quality of muscles, tissues, structural integrity, and nucleic acid formation. It may help prevent muscle breakdown by boosting creatinine levels. It converts glucose to energy, may protect against some cancers due to its antioxidant effect. It's important for the gut and brain function. It may reduce seizures, hyperactivity, and manic disorders in those who are bipolar. L-histidine. This is the structure. It is a conditionally essential amino acid. It's a precursor to histamine, an allergic mediator that degranulates mast cells. It helps with regulation and usage of essential trace minerals, metal-bearing enzymes such as superoxide dismutase, which is a powerful antioxidant. It breaks down to metallothionein to engulf toxic heavy metals, thus shielding our tissues from the toxic effects of those metals. Isoleucine. This is the structure. It's an essential amino acid. We cannot make it ourselves. It's been noted to increase endurance, help heal muscle, boosts energy level, and assists in the recovery from strenuous exercise. It is an isomer of leucine. It's one of the 3 branched chain amino acids involved in hemoglobin. It's involved in hemoglobin synthesis, regulation of blood sugar. It can be converted into glucose in the liver, and also energy levels. It prevents muscle wasting, promotes tissue repair, and has anabolic effects, causing it to increase protein synthesis. L-leucine. This is the structure. It's the isomer of isoleucine. It's an essential amino acid that regulates blood sugar levels, promotes growth and recovery of muscle and bone, produces growth hormone, prevents muscle breakdown, and may help with phenylketonuria. It's good for bodybuilding and weight loss. It aids in burning fat without burning muscle. It has a muscle sparing effect in that sense. L-lysine. This is the structure. It's an essential amino acid that has a major role in calcium absorption. It helps to build muscle protein, helps with recovery from trauma or surgery, production of hormones, enzymes, and antibodies. It depresses the central nervous system with anti-seizure properties. It's needed to produce carnitine, which transforms fatty acids into energy, gets them across the mitochondrial membrane where they can be burned. It also helps to lower cholesterol levels. Lysine is necessary for bone, skin, cartilage, tendon, and connective tissue health. It will also help with osteoporosis. It can also help prevent outbreaks of cold sores and herpes infections. L-methionine, the structure, it's got the sulfur, as you can see, in the yellow-green color. It's an essential amino acid. Again, contains sulfur. It acts as an intermediary in the synthesis of different phospholipids. It's important in single carbon metabolism and helps to detoxify the liver. Improper conversion of methionine can lead to atherosclerosis or hardening of the arteries. It supplies the sulfur needed for growth and metabolism, including antioxidant functions. It may be helpful in depression, inflammation, liver disease, muscle pains. It's also helpful for those who have an estrogen dominance. It helps the liver to break down estrogens to help correct estrogen-progesterone balance. L-phenylalanine. This is an aromatic amino acid, and you can see the 6-sided circle there with the dashes inside. That's basically a benzene ring, which is what an aromatic is, so it can act as an antioxidant. It's an essential amino acid, precursor to tyrosine. Combining with tyrosine, it forms adrenaline, which can then be converted to noradrenaline or norepinephrine. and eventually to dopamine. Norepinephrine is a neurotransmitter involved in alertness, memory, mood, and appetite suppression. Phenylketonuria is a disease in which an enzyme needed to utilize phenylalanine is missing. It can lead to severe, irreversible mental retardation if not treated before 3 weeks of age. It can also be used to help treat chronic pain. It strengthens the effect of UVA radiation in treating vitiligo and for help with Parkinson's disease, improving walking disabilities, rigidity, speech difficulties, and depression. It's also involved in the production of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, as I said a moment earlier. L-proline, this is the structure. It's got a 5-membered nitrogenous ring. It's conditionally essential. It's formed from glutamine and ornithine. It's an essential component of collagen. It's vital for joints, tendons, connective tissues. It strengthens the heart muscle. It reduces hardening of the arteries, improving blood vessel flexibility and compliance. L-serine, the structure, and a conditionally essential amino acid derived from glycine. It requires adequate levels of vitamin B6 and B2, folate, for formation. A precursor to glycine and cysteine, it helps catalyze hydrolysis of peptide bonds and polypeptides and proteins. It's important in the digestive process. It's essential for central nervous system function. It helps with phospholipid metabolism, nucleic acids, muscles, immune system, conversion of tryptophan to serotonin, which prevents depression, anxiety, and insomnia. Low levels of this may be responsible for fibromyalgia and the chronic fatigue. It's necessary for the production of immunoglobulins and antibodies and for the absorption of creatine. L-taurine, this is the structure. This is an amino acid containing an amino group. It is actually not an amino acid per se. It's formed from cysteine and is present in seafood and meat. It's involved in conjugation of bile acids. It has antioxidant functions, osmoregulation, or regulating the amount of solute in liquid so that our plasma and serum blood does not get too concentrated. Involved in membrane stabilization and modulates or regulates calcium signaling. It's essential for cardiovascular function, development and function of the skeletal muscle, retina, central nervous system, liver health and function. It decreases blood pressure and cholesterol. It crosses the blood-brain barrier, inhibits neurotransmission. It stabilizes the membrane in the central nervous system, protects against glutamate excitotoxicity, can help prevent seizures and reduce anxiety. L-threonine, this is the structure. It's an essential amino acid. It's useful for depression. It's essential for the formation of elastin, collagen, and enamel proteins. It promotes proper fat metabolism in the liver. It aids in digestive function, metabolism, and assimilation. It supports the central nervous system, cardiovascular system, liver, immune systems, and as noted earlier, it's essential for the synthesis of glycine and serine, which are necessary for collagen, elastin, and muscle formation. Threonine speeds wound healing. It combines with aspartic acid and methionine to help the liver digest fats and fatty acids. It reduces accumulation of fat in the liver, a condition known as steatohepatitis. It's also useful in amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, and multiple sclerosis. And it can be a thymus gland immunostimulant, working on the thymus gland to help produce T cells. L-tryptophan, another aromatic amino acid. It's an essential amino acid involved in enzymes, structural proteins, serotonin, melatonin, and of course neurotransmitters. It's involved in affective mood disorders, pain perception, sleep, temperature and blood pressure regulation. It may be a mediator of central fatigue, can help with premenstrual syndrome and smoking cessation, reduces carbohydrate cravings, may help with restless leg syndrome, helps control hyperactivity in children and relieve stress. L-tyrosine, another aromatic amino acid. It's a conditionally essential amino acid. It's the starting material for neurotransmitters, especially dopamine and noradrenaline or norepinephrine. It's involved in the synthesis of enkephalins for pain relief, sort of like our endorphins. They're important in brain health and depression as well. Dopamine is essential for mental function, mood, libido. It's helpful with stress, fatigue. It suppresses the appetite, increases alertness. It's a key component of numerous hormones such as thyroxine. It helps to regulate metabolism, helps with mental health, skin health, and the human growth rate. It affects the pituitary and adrenal glands as well. It can be helpful during periods of adrenal burnout and adrenal fatigue, and it reduces body fat content. L-valine, this is the last of the amino acids. There's the structure. Another essential amino acid. This prevents the breakdown of muscle by supplying muscle with extra glucose for energy production during physical activity. It's essential for proper central nervous system function, one of the three branched-chain amino acids that compose over 70% of our proteins. It helps with nervousness, insomnia, appetite suppression, muscle health, immune system regulation, and it also increases exercise endurance. Therapeutic uses for amino acids. Amino acid supplementation can be helpful for a variety of different conditions. Among them, anti-aging. Antioxidant and hormone effects can help, especially with lysine, glutathione, which is the combination of essential methionine and cysteine, and methionine. Erectile dysfunction can be helped with arginine and pine bark extract, which increase production of nitric oxide while reducing inflammation to preserve the blood vessels and prevent hardening of the arteries. Cancer treatment with amino acids. There's a regimen called a controlled amino acid treatment program that works by restricting certain amino acids from the diet to combat growth and reproduction of cancer cells. The treatment consists of tightly controlled intake of foodstuffs, the consumption of a tailor-made blend of amino acids often designed specifically for the type of cancer that is being battled, and a defined regimen of nutritional supplements with an addendum of those that must be avoided. The way that CAAT works on a tumor is by preventing the production of new blood vessels, as detailed earlier, blocking the process of glycolysis, which will enable cancer cells to produce energy by preventing growth of cancer cells. Lysine is also an essential amino acid that works to inhibit invasion of healthy tissues by cancer cells, especially when lysine is combined with vitamin C. Glutathione is an example of a non-protein building amino acid. Instead, it's a nutrient made of amino acid chains. It's essential to life and is known as having very powerful antioxidant properties. Circulation. Nitric oxide occurs naturally in the body. Its availability is closely linked to the amino acids arginine and citrulline, a non-protein amino acid that is a precursor to arginine. Cholesterol reduction. The cholesterol-lowering effects of the three amino acids arginine, carnitine, and taurine are demonstrated by a significant number of research studies. Diabetes. L-carnitine reduces oxidative stress considerably by eliminating free radicals and therefore should be taken in conjunction with drug treatments for diabetes. Diabetes type 2, several studies have shown that amino acids L-arginine and L-carnitine have a positive influence on glucose tolerance and insulin sensitivity. Hair loss and prevention. Diets rich in methionine, cysteine, and arginine can minimize oxidative stress, help to balance hormones, and slow the aging process. For the immune system, it's widely accepted that amino acids play a key role in regulating the body's immune response. Three common amino acids found in the body involved with this are glutamine, arginine, and cysteine. N-acetylcysteine supplementation increases the available glutathione, which is a powerful antioxidant that has also been shown to interfere with HIV production. In terms of inflammation, branched-chain amino acids, isoleucine, leucine, and valine, have strong anti-inflammatory effects. Glutamine and glycine also have anti-inflammatory effects. To treat insomnia, glutamine, tryptophan, and iron all improve sleep quality. For menopause, arginine can help suppress hot flashes. Lysine slows the absorption of arginine into cells so that it remains active in the plasma longer. And then carnitine can help to minimize weight gain. For muscle growth, the branched-chain amino acids isoleucine, leucine, and valine are essential for muscle growth and repair. Arginine helps to improve blood flow. Carnitine enhances fat burning and accelerates recovery from injury, stress, and overuse, while taurine reduces oxidative stress and tissue breakdown after intense workouts. For neurobehavioral issues, neurotransmitters are synthesized from the amino acids such as GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, glycine, taurine, glutamine, and tryptophan. Low levels of these amino acids are often found in children with ADD or ADHD, and often supplementing these amino acids in specific doses can improve the adverse effect of those disorders. Osteoarthritis. Methionine is a sulfur-containing amino acid that helps to build cartilage. Arginine supports the immune system and improves circulation, while glucosamine is an amino sugar that is an important part of cartilage. Chondroitin is a sulfated polysaccharide that converts back and forth to glucosamine and promotes cartilage elasticity and structure. Methylsulfonylmethane, also known as MSM, is a sulfur-containing amino acid-like complex with a high concentration of sulfur for cartilage formation. Also, collagen hydrosylates consist of the building blocks for collagen. Rectal diseases. Arginine reduces hemorrhoids by improving circulation. Lysine improves the connective tissue health, which also helps to reduce the hemorrhoids, which are, after all, swollen veins due to poor connective tissue functioning. For skin and hair, lysine works well for partial and advanced baldness. It improves repair mechanisms and hair strength, reducing daily hair loss. Carnitine supports fat metabolism, which helps keep the skin from sagging due to excess fat under the skin. For virility and fertility, carnitine turns fat into energy and is related to the development and maturation of healthy sperm. While arginine improves circulation via nitric oxide formation, it also affects sperm quality. For weight loss, carnitine promotes fat burning and thus weight loss.